So let's fire it up, drop into Fortnite, and see how this $6 Xeon holds its ground. Now onto the Xeon E5-1620 V4, a 4-core, 8-thread chip that really surprised me. Gameplay was incredibly smooth, easily holding over 100 frames per second when standing still or exploring. Even during close-range fights with tons of effects and animations on screen, the FPS only dropped to about 90, then bounced right back up to 100 almost instantly. For a $9 CPU, that kind of stability is impressive. Honestly, what more could you ask for at this price? Alright, time for something a little different. This isn't your grandpa's Xeon. This is the Xeon E31220 V6, and it cost me about $8.80. Released in 2017, it's one of the newer chips in this lineup. Built on Intel's Kaby Lake architecture, with 4 strong cores, no hyper-threading, but solid single-core performance that still matters for gaming. Compared to the older Xeons, this one feels a bit more modern, a bit more snappy, like a retired office worker who still hits the gym 3 times a week. So, let's drop it into Fortnite and see if this $8 powerhouse can flex its muscles. The Xeon E31220 V6 ran close to full load, with the clock speed holding steady at 3.3 GHz and temperatures around 51 degrees Celsius. In Fortnite, the experience was surprisingly smooth, averaging over 100 FPS most of the time. During intense fights or building moments, frames could dip to around 60, but it recovered instantly to the 90s without freezing or major lag. For a $9 CPU, that's genuinely impressive, and it's not perfect, but the overall experience feels far better than the price would ever suggest. This one's a bit different. The Intel Core i5-4590 isn't here to prove anything. It already did years ago. Back in 2014, it powered countless budget gaming PCs, and even now it still feels reliable. 4 cores, 4 threads, and that classic "it just works" vibe. Let's drop it into Fortnite and see if this old legend still has a little fight left. The Intel Core i5-4590 still delivers a surprisingly playable experience. Frame rates hover around 70 frames per second, sometimes climbing to 100 and can dip just below 50 in heavy fights. But the game stays smooth and responsive the whole time. At $10, this chip remains a smart, budget-friendly pick in 2025. And finally, the last one. The strongest and also the most expensive chip in this lineup. Meet the Xeon E31241 V3, coming in at $18. Released in 2014, it packs 4 cores and 8 threads, and was once considered server-grade power for professionals. Now it's time to see if this $18 beast can still dominate the battlefield of Fortnite in 2025. The Xeon E31241 V3 was released around the same time as the G3240-, but its performance is on a completely different level. For an 11-year-old chip, it delivered an impressive 100 frames per second